Thank you, Brian, wherever you disappeared to. Thank you, everybody else. The first poem I'm going to read is called Ocean, the Great Conductor. For about 30 seconds, the landing plane was the brightest planet. So directly were we in its path. The interior of the car was an esophageal red, and in my headlights, my dancing was a reenactment of my deep shame of dancing. We had no governor, just the moon, making a smaller moon on the car hood. There were no waves, only a tension at the surface, a humming like the bell with a bee's nest for a clapper. Actually, the first few of these poems all are tangentially related to space. That space up there. This next one is, let's see, it's about a poster. It starts with a poster I had in my room as a child, which was Michael Jordan, doing his dunking thing like that. But he was dunking the moon. And I think it was in a TV show too, because I saw it recently, maybe. And this also has an asteroid in it, which is, it's been asteroid-heavy news the last couple of days, so that's appropriate. Quibbles with science. If I needed space, I could find it disappearing into a poster of Michael Jordan dunking the moon. That's where I became vitreous. If vitreous means the anger I once held became a liquid I could excrete. I knew the ocean had done something bad and beyond apology. Its tide was red. It was red like my eyes in the park's mossy archway. That smoke was damp, though bred in flame. Mom would say, "There you go dying in the verdure again." Her phrase, "Light up." I ached for weather that might turn my skin reptilian. I saw a desert in the rind of a clementine. I didn't want to grow old when growing old meant growing plastic. At night, 2011 UD21 hurtled toward Earth. Hurricanes we named, but asteroids I prayed to. I wasn't the type to quibble with silence, vitreous, adjective, consisting of class. More space. Beam me up, buttercup. When the sky is uncongested, we let our hair down. We steam florets of broccoli. We eat colorless bowls of rice where forks disappear. Soon, we can only see what a gourd can see. A gourd's light is external. In deep space, nothing reflects from the gourd, and nothing reflects from us. We try to make the gourd blink, and it mocks us for trying. At least we don't give up easy as aspens, which seed too much yellow. We are dim satellites orbiting a mute vegetable. We have decent vocabulary and a craving for euros. Oh, and the radio. So tell me, who do you love? Who do you love? This poem's about a 1984 Toyota van that my wife and I bought last winter, which came to the name Toaster, which the root, the etymology of that term will become clear as the poem goes on. Toaster. Cows are funny, but you wouldn't get their jokes. You might circle them from a distance and then in tightening spirals, but you wouldn't get them to turn their heads and mutter gee willikers or do something chivalrous like shield you from the rain. In the sun, buckets of milk thicken to buckets of paint that you use to whiten a collapsed barn, an act the neighbors greet with the same circumspection you got from the walrus of a mechanic who promised to get this toaster up and running. He was speaking of the van. I guarantee that the cow watches you longer than you watch it. The great distributor in the sky also knows to keep an eye on all his entrepreneurs. The only place to hide is in one of those dark bays where the arms of the dead reach up to change your oil. This is not really about space, but it's about Molly Moons. I had that written down up here, make that joke. I'm busting out. I'm busting out, says the last test taker to the proctor before disappearing among greenhouses, gone native with the squirrels. He speeds through a condo complex where two men fish a possum from the pool. The possum's nose is almost pig-like and therefore almost human. Across the street, a woman lifts a wreath and breathes deep. She tastes it, too. There's something over-caffeinated about the holidays. The escaped boy plucks the sweetest tendon from the ham bone. He's waited a long time for this, yes, but others wait just as long for ice cream on a weeknight. Okay, so now I guess a lot of these poems are maybe scientific misinformation. And so these last few poems that I'm going to read are prose poems where the titles come from a book of science experiments called Science for You that was made in the 80s. And it features these little illustrations of strange-looking children. And it was written by a man, Bob Brown, who's a recurring character in these poems. And he just kind of says things to within his instructions, he'll say, like, go look up Archimedes. And he doesn't really give information, he just gives commands. And it's all very mad, like it's so obvious, gravity. Sound for fishes. Go swimming. Clutch a rock between your teeth, apple-like. Have your friend do the same and bang your rock against his rock. It will look like the worst form of CPR. Sound is loudest underwater when it's the last thing you hear. Typo. Friction and air. Retrieve the long white balloon from the corner of the patio. Return it to the... Friction and air. Retrieve the long... This is maybe why all those finalists know. I need a better proofreader. Friction and air. Retrieve the long white balloon from the corner of the patio. Return it to the balloon man who created a comet. Challenge a friend to hold your drink. Challenge your friend to drink from a balloon. Challenge the balloon man to transmigrate heavier objects. Now try disappearing. It's easy. Hide in a conversation that you keep bringing back to sports. Air and plants. Celery, we know, makes a terrible boat, but it is part water. And water is mostly air. Underwater, celery becomes something you can breathe through. Pliers left in the yard rust among the geraniums. Soon you will be able to breathe through them too. In fact, you can breathe through so many things that it's helpful to have a plastic bag on hand, so you know what it's like not to breathe. So you know how lucky you are. Mean influence. I had a science teacher, Mr. Brown. Bob Brown hated children so much his only lesson for them was to catalog the stars. He thought a lack of sleep would have them exhausted by 5th period. Old-timers have lots of tricks to carve out moments of quiet. He liked to cut the lower leaves from ivy, sit back, and watch the roots grow. This assuaged his deep fear of aging. At night, he wrapped his rheumatic joints in cheesecloth, laid down on the carpet, and let his dog Ponce lick his face. Okay. A mystery flame. Moths flick in and out of the bar, none of them wanting to die a virgin. I sit next to a man for the third day running and say, "What's up?" as if for the first time. Language is a contract of so many grays. When God finally takes back the schools, I wonder if he'll answer Timmy's questions about blowjobs and how he'll teach the comma. That's my political poem. Okay, action and reaction. Let's stand near each other and assume the Miss Mary Mac position. Let's leave our hands right. What is this? So, yeah, see, I don't even know. Let's stand near each other and assume the Miss Mary Mac position. Hands in pockets. Let's leave our hands right here until a black, two-dimensional sun floats into the periphery. The throbbing in your palm is the source of all life. Now toss me that sun. You won't need it for a while, but it's vital that you know it exists. This is one of Newton's laws. For every useless particle floating in the universe, there is its opposite, the one that means so much it kills you. This is how love builds from tiny deaths. This is why you need a sun dressed in black. All right. This is the last one. Experiment with solids. A tennis ball spends every day watching the same patch of sky. A patch of sky that used to be a globe. Don't believe science when it tells you blue isn't a color. Blue is the dictator inside every object. Only a bullet isn't blue. A bullet is green with venom and dumb as the lamp that only does what we tell it. A bullet is empty. Blue is an egg.